don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish.
And we are live, guys. We're going to switch back over here to scene one. How is it going, everybody? We're going to be talking about my portfolio today. Super excited to see everyone down there in the chat. So welcome, 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 everybody. Super excited to have you all here. We're going to be live streaming for about 45 minutes to an hour. We'll see how far we go. But we are going to be talking about my portfolio, which you just got a sneak peek of there for a second. We're going to be diving more in depth into that here in a couple of minutes. So we're going to be going all into that, answering your questions along the way as well. So make sure to be bringing those fun questions along. Always excited to hear what you guys are thinking, what's on your mind, what kind of questions you have out there. It's always very, very exciting for me. So definitely looking forward to that as well. Let's get that off there. Perfect. Just going to let everyone know over on Twitter that the live stream has started. Fantastico. Excellent. Awesome. So basically, I'll be breaking down what's in the portfolio today, why, I guess, everything that is in the portfolio is in the portfolio. Whales eat plankton. Plankton! You are not plankton, my friends. You are not plankton. What is up, guys? What up? Very excited to have everyone on. I know I don't do these portfolio updates probably as often as I should, but nevertheless, excited to do it. Excited to talk about it. Let you guys know kind of what is going on in my portfolio, what's going on in my thoughts, how it's changed, what positions I've got in and out of, et cetera, et cetera. And obviously, it's changed a lot since last time I did a portfolio update, and probably a lot more from earlier updates in my portfolio. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and click over onto the oldie portfolio here and have a quick look. Yeah, it's all coming through nicely. Fantastic. So, Crypto Revolution asks, Lark, what is the best decentralized finance project in the space? Probably the best one I would say is Maker at the moment, but there's a lot of really great stuff. I mean, IDEX is a great exchange. That's decentralized finance. I mean, some of the stablecoin projects, obviously DAI is crypto collateralized, but some of the other ones are pretty interesting. The new gold tokens, for example, those are interesting too. So there it is, guys. Anyway, there it is. There's the portfolio. There it is. There it is, guys. We're going to be going through this I guess, slice of the pie by slice of the pie, breaking down my logic behind this. And look, guys, this is just me. It's just what, I put my money into. Obviously, everyone's got their own things, and I'll be going through quite a bit of what some of this stuff is. And there it is. There's the first comment. Actually, the first comments is, why do you not have my coin in your portfolio, Lark? Where's the VeChain? Where's the EOS? Where's the Nano and the BYBIT and all that stuff that you should absolutely have in your damn portfolio? Bad crypto influencer guy. Well, anyway. Look, if your coin is not in my portfolio, it's okay. It's okay. Your coin is a special flower too. I'm sure it's very, very good. The thing is there's only so much space in my brain for X amount of coins, and the more diversified you get is not necessarily the better it is. In fact, I feel like I'm overly diversified as it is with my portfolio, and there's only 20 coins on here. So that is the comment of the hour right there. Do you have pants on? I do have pants on today. I don't always have pants on when I record videos, but there are pants on today. So you're welcome, everybody. But no, seriously, guys. Honestly, there is a lot of really, really great stuff out there. And I think if you look around and take your time to dig in to find that really good stuff, you're going to do really well in crypto overall. And look, just because I don't have your coin in here doesn't mean that the one that you have invested in is bad or that it's not going to do well or any of that stuff. This is just me and what I have in my personal portfolio. So I'm just sharing those thoughts with you. So if you're like, oh gosh, Lark, where's the EOS? Actually, I do have about, I don't know, a tiny fraction of EOS, just enough to just a few EOS that I use to play around on EOS from time to time when I test out a DApp or something like that. But I didn't even list that in my portfolio because it's such an insignificant amount of EOS. I mean, it's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 EOS or something like that, 7 EOS, like just, not a lot at all. It's just something little there. So that's something to keep in mind. And there's a couple other little ones, and that's the plus sign down here, the fractions bit over here where it says fractions. That is basically what I mean by that. Is I've got these little things that kind of just, they're there. I don't even really think about them. They just like, with EOS, it lets me interact on the network by having power to interact. But other than that, don't really do much with it. And I don't hold a large chunk of it as some kind of investment, which I think is the most important thing. So there's that. Now, so we're going to start off, obviously, the biggest one here is Bitcoin. Somebody's saying 100% Bitcoin. Well, I'm close to 50% Bitcoin. Obviously, it depends on the day, how much up and down it goes, and all that fun stuff. But, basically, what you have is, I look at Bitcoin and I think, yeah, it's got to be the cornerstone of my personal portfolio, right? And I think it's the good cornerstone of a lot of portfolios. Amazing success. Can you share with us why you invested in Litecoin? I will get to every coin on this list, so we're not going to jump ahead here. We will be getting into some of those different things, why I have which coins, so we'll be going around the circle here, so don't worry. I'll talk about Litecoin. I'll talk about everything listed here, so there you go. Everyone's saying, you need some Link, Lark, you need some Link. I don't need Link, man. If you're holding Link, rock it, man. Do you. Like, for me, it's just, I got what I got, and I'm pretty happy with that, and I'll get to whether I'm thinking about adding in any possible things in the future, but Bitcoin's the cornerstone of any good portfolio, in my opinion. That is why I have almost half of my portfolio in Bitcoin. So that is very, very important. No, there is no link. There's no chain link in my portfolio, guys. No chain link. I know it's going to break some people's hearts out there, but there's no chain link in my portfolio. But anyway, some people are Bitcoin maximalists for one reason or another, whether it's for the reason that they look at and say, hey, you know what? I only have the time and energy to think about Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's the safest bet. Therefore, I only have Bitcoin in my portfolio. I get that. I really do. And if that is your opinion towards Bitcoin and why you have a 100% Bitcoin portfolio, I get it, man. I totally get it. I do. I do. It's, looking at all this stuff in my portfolio, it's a lot to keep up with. It is. So I honestly think my portfolio is already overextended, and there's some of these that I don't even know why I'm holding it anymore, but I'll get to those. But if you're kind of got the opinion like, oh, everything else that's not Bitcoin is shit because of X, Y, or Z reason, I would suggest you really do some more research, because honestly, there's an insane amount of innovation going on in crypto land that's not happening on Bitcoin. We talked about this in my Ethereum video the other day, talking about how basically, Eric, thank you so much for the contribution, man. Really, really appreciate it. That is super awesome. Thank you, man. That rocks. I was talking about this in my Ethereum video the other day. I mean, Ethereum has 4 times as many developers just working on coding Ethereum and Ethereum 2.0. So you need to think about that. That's a lot of development going on there. And, I guess a Bitcoin maximalist might say, yeah, but someday, Bitcoin's going to incorporate all these things. Like, how long do I have to wait? How many decades will it take before we see a, high functionality that we have on Ethereum already, or on other blockchains already, coming to Bitcoin? Or certainly you wouldn't want to have something like MakerDAO, for example, on a layer 2 solution. I mean, that's millions of dollars on a layer 2 solution, which is simply not as secure. So there's that as well. What's up, guys? I'm so excited to see everyone in the chat. Mr. Harry Lasagna, Crypto Numbnuts, everybody, welcome again. Just to shout out to everyone hanging out in the chat there. I see you guys. So welcome to the party, everyone. Now, so that's Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin really speaks for itself, honestly, but we're going to move on to the next one here. So the second biggest holding is Ethereum. So my second biggest one is Ethereum. Ethereum's one I kind of come in and out of, to be honest. I mean, if I see some investment opportunities, which I'll get to that in the ICO section of this conversation, but basically, I think Ethereum's absolutely awesome, personally, and I think it's going to do a lot of very, very interesting things in the coming year or two. So I'm bullish on the future of Ethereum. I'm excited about the future of Ethereum. Now, you might look and ask, well, Lark, why is your Cardano stack half of the size of your Ethereum stack? Well, I'm also excited about the future of Cardano. If they pull off everything that they're trying to pull off, I think it'll do very well. My Cardano stack used to be a larger percentage of my overall portfolio, but the price has decreased that percentage, let us say. So just keep that in mind. But no, I'm still holding on to my Cardano. I mean, it's not going anywhere. Honestly, I'm still excited about the future of Cardano, what they can offer, what they can accomplish. Assuming they get everything right, they're moving in that direction. It's a very slow burn, Cardano, but I think they're going to get it right. So, between Ethereum and Cardano, obviously they're two very important, smart contract platforms. I've got a couple other smart contract platforms here in the portfolio as well. That being said, I think these two are probably looking to be the hottest at the moment. There's a couple of different ones, and I'll look at my plus possibles note here on my portfolio graphic, and I look at things like Tezos, for example. I look at things like Cosmos, for example, and some other stuff, and there's some very, very interesting blockchains going out there that I do not hold any of. And again, it's like everyone's saying, oh, Lark, I can't believe you didn't invest in this or that, and it's not on your portfolio. Look, there's some really cool stuff out there, and I would recommend to not over-diversify your portfolio. If you're holding 50 coins, man, there's no way you can keep track of all the updates and all the stuff going on. So I already feel at 20 coins, my portfolio is too big, and I'm going to make a few mentions on how I can bring that down, so... The Having Show, thank you very much for the donation from Norway. Norway, man. Awesome. I'd love to come and check out your fjords someday. One of these days, anyway. So we're gonna move on. So that's the three big ones. BNB, so Binance Coin. So Binance Coin is one that I have a decent stack of, and I have had for quite a while. And Raymond says, I really thought you were a Bitcoin maximalist with maybe some Ethereum. Oh no. I have never been a Bitcoin maximalist. It's funny because I do a lot of content on Bitcoin because I see Bitcoin like the tip of the spear, right? So I talk about Bitcoin and it's kind of representative of a lot of the things actually happening in the overall cryptocurrency space. So even though I talk a lot about Bitcoin and I'm very excited about Bitcoin, you see Bitcoin makes up half of my portfolio, I am in no way a Bitcoin maximalist by any stretch of the imagination, nor have I ever been a Bitcoin maximalist or an Ethereum maximalist or anything like that. I see a lot of value being created and a lot of innovation happening around the cryptocurrency space. So I'm very open to different ideas and different projects, even though I haven't talked a lot about Bitcoin recently, but just all this banking dysfunction and all that fun stuff going on. So that's probably a bit of my inspiration for talking so much about Bitcoin recently. But anyway, I digress. So Binance Coin. Binance continues to be one of the biggest and most important exchanges. And there's a lot of benefits to holding the Binance coin. One for me is, holding a large amount gets me an increased affiliate bonus. So that's a direct benefit for me. But also I hold a decent amount to be able to get into the lotteries for IEOs happening on the Binance platform. So there's a few different reasons to hold BNB. And I don't think I'll be significantly anyway decreasing my BNB stack at any point in the near future because I see the utility in holding it for multiple different reasons. So there's that. Now the next one up is Beam. So Beam is almost 5% of my portfolio. Monero, just slightly behind that. Changes depending on the price of either one during a day. Crypto Lone Wolf asks, is BNB a security? Well, I don't think that BNB is a security based on the use of it as a utility token on the platform. Obviously, Binance US is listing BNB on their platform, so they probably don't think that it's a security either. Would you see a situation potentially like happened with EOS where they could say, well, the sale could have constituted an illegal security offering, assuming that Binance didn't do enough to keep out people who were from the US? Possible, but I highly doubt it. I think now that BNB is running as a utility token for the exchange, but also as a mainnet token for the Binance chain, I don't think there's, personally, I guess the SEC could have a different opinion at some point in the future, but regardless, I think that the BNB token is not going to be a security. Where's the Doge? Where's the Doge? Somebody asked, Lark, you have Beam but not Grin. I do have Beam but not Grin. There were just some things that I liked more about Beam personally, and I could have gone, 2.5% of Beam, 2.5% of Grin. I chose Beam for a variety of different reasons, which I kind of go into in my video on Beam that I made a while ago. So, Damien, Lark, where's your Matic? Oh, you missed the part of the conversation about, like, I can't have every coin, man. Can't have every coin. But anyway, I did have Matic for a while. I got out at just I didn't take as much profit as I should have on it, to be honest, but I got out before I had a loss on it. So, there's that. I saw it going down. I was like, I'm not going to ride that down any farther. So that was what happened to my Matic. I did have some Matic for a while. But yeah, Beam, I'm very excited about privacy technology. That's why I have Beam and Monero. I think they're both very interesting technologies. You're all good, Damien. You're all good, man. I think Beam and Monero are both fantastic privacy technologies. Obviously, we got one Mimblewimble. You have the other, which is, ring signatures with confidential transactions and bulletproofs and all that fun stuff. I mean, Monero's hot, man. I like Monero a lot. And I think that Beam is one of these kind of undervalued privacy coins that in the next, year or two, I think we're going to see a lot of growth potentially on either Beam or Grin. Grin might, being more, I guess, not open source. I want to say more just community focused. I mean, Beam is too. Beam's very exciting, but you know they've got the whole thing where they've got a percentage of the block rewards going to fund development and research and the foundation and all that stuff. So I could see some people would disagree with that, but I like Beam. I think Beam's going to do very well, in the coming run. So there's that. Next up is Nash. So this is the next token. I mean, Nash. Alex says that Beam is also deflationary compared to Grin. That's right. Grin has no cap on its supply, whereas Beam does have a cap on its supply. So there's that. It want to be the private store of value, if you will. But anyway, the Nash token. So this is obviously the Neon Exchange Nex. So I got a good stack a while ago, and I've staked it, and it's been pretty disappointing so far. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I mean, I've got a few cents from staking a pretty decent amount of Nex tokens so far, and I hope that the volume picks up on the Nash exchange. I still think that it's a fantastic potential exchange. I still think that they are going to go far, but I think the initial launch has been rather lackluster for various reasons as they expand out to more geographic locations, as they get more listed, as they bring in Bitcoin. Obviously, bringing in Bitcoin is going to be a very important one for them. So the first bit of staking has not been very exciting, and certainly, the tiny percentage return has not been super exciting, but anyway, I'm still holding those. They're locked up for 2 years, so what am I going to do? Of course I'm still holding them. But I honestly think when I made that decision to lock them up for 2 years, I said, you know what, it's going to be a boomer bust, basically. And that was kind of my decision when I did it, to think that, it's Nash is either going to work out or it's not going to work out. And if it doesn't work out, then such are things, right? But I guess I have the ability to look at an investment like that and think, yeah, well, if it doesn't go that way, then that's okay. I'm prepared to lose everything on a lot of these investments, actually. That's the speculative nature of some altcoins. And do I think that I'm going to lose all my money on Nash? No, I don't. But how much will that actually benefit over time? We're going to have to see. They got to get that volume up. The volume has been very, very low so far. Thus, the staking rewards have been very, very low. So something to keep in mind. Somebody asked a question about having a BYBIT long open for hypothetically ever. The thing you have to keep in mind is with perpetual swap contracts, you have got to pay a funding rate on those. So I would look into that a bit more to understand how the funding rates work, what the funding rates are, et cetera, because that will impact your ability to keep that open forever. So something to think about. Dig into that a little more. I think they've got a lot of great information about the funding rates in their FAQ over on BYBIT, so do check that out. All right, next up, what do we have? Tomo Chain. Tomo Chain. Tomo Chain's an exciting one. I've been into Tomo Chain literally since the ICO. So I've been sitting on it since the ICO. I'm very excited about the future of Tomo Chain. They've been doing a lot of stuff, these guys, and they continue to do a lot of stuff. They're a team that just delivers and delivers and delivers, and it's cool. It's cool. Honestly, I'm pretty happy on chilling on my Tomo Chain for quite a while. I will sell it at some point, but some people are going on here, the multiple people going on about VeChain. Why don't you have VeChain, Lark? Where's the VeChain? Guys, VeChain doing a lot of cool stuff. Just because I don't have VeChain in my portfolio doesn't mean that I don't like it. And actually a really good point. There's a lot of stuff that I don't have in my portfolio that you might have in your portfolio that I actually like. I talk about a lot of different stuff. I like Chainlink. I think Chainlink's doing interesting stuff. I like VeChain. I think VeChain is doing interesting stuff. I like EOS. I think EOS is doing some interesting stuff, and that may be a very unpopular opinion among a wide range of people, but I think that EOS is nevertheless doing some pretty interesting stuff, doing some pretty innovative stuff. Do I like all the innovative stuff that they're doing? Not all the time, but it's interesting nevertheless to see how that project is developing, but I don't have those in my portfolio because I can only sanely look at X amount of coins, and I think I'm already overextended. So some of these will be sold at some point. I mean, my long-term holds versus ones that I will ease out of or use, right? At some point, I will sell Tomo Chain. I've got, a price in mind for when I want to get out of my Tomo Chain. And if it takes 2 years to reach that point, great. Or if it goes and tanks completely, well, that was the risk I took. So there's that consideration. Now I want to move on to Litecoin. Litecoin up next. I've been sitting on a decent little bag of Litecoin for some time now. I don't know, I've been a Litecoin fan. Litecoin's cool. For quite a while, I've always had a little bit of Litecoin in and out of my portfolio. But one thing with Litecoin is that, I'm quite happy to spend it. Jonathan says, thoughts on moving some fiat savings into GUSD for BlockFi's interest account? Potentially a great idea, man. Honestly, that's something I talked about. So he's talking about BlockFi and their lending programs. And actually, I know a lot of people out there are really like, oh, lending, I get it. BitConnect, the ghosts of BitConnect have not disappeared. That left a big scar on a lot of people. It did. So there's that. But look, that was a Ponzi scam. You look at something like BlockFi or Crypto.com or Celsius. I mean, this is totally different stuff. We have totally transparent teams. We know who everybody in the team is. These guys are regulated. These guys have insurance policies. These guys have official, they're using people like BitGo, for example, for their custody services. So they are much more serious. Steve says, if you don't hold the keys, you don't own the coin. That is exactly right, Steve. If you don't hold the keys, you don't own the coin. That is the concept of lending. You give your money to someone else, they give it, and you get a percentage on it, right? It's not for everyone. I've said that a lot, and I'll continue to say that. Your keys, your Bitcoin, right? And if the percentage offered is not something for you, then yes. And it's not worth it for you. If you look at the risk to reward and think, hey, could be something there. I could be interested in getting 6% annually, guys. That's a year, 6% a year. That's not, break the bank kind of stuff. I mean, that's good. That's better than a lot of bank accounts. If we talk about GUSD, which the initial question was about, it's over 8%. And actually, a lot of stablecoin lending rates are quite high. And I think that's the thing that's really interesting for people, because if you took, let's say you're sitting on $100,000 in the bank and it's getting, 0.01% interest in a Chase account, because that's what the savings rates are for, I'm pretty sure for Chase, or Chase 0.03. One of the two. Anyway, abysmally low. If you took just, let's say 5% of that fiat, bought stable coins, and then took those stable coins and put them with BlockFi or Celsius or Crypto.com. They all offer competitive rates, so it's definitely worth checking out different ones. But basically, you would have drastically increase your annual percentage of interest by lending out those stable coins. Crypto Bizzle says, same lending style as banks. Fractional reserve crypto. Isn't this what Bitcoin was created to fight? Not sure how I feel about this. Look, Crypto Bizzle, it's a little bit different because when you lend out a Bitcoin, for example, with someone like BlockFi, they actually give it out to someone else, right? So there's, it's not about creating fake money out of thin air, right, based on the debt obligations. I'd look into a little bit more of what these services actually are offering, but it's not really fractional reserve crypto. It's a little bit different. So the GUSD available for U.S. customers, no, GUSD, last I looked, is not available for U.S. customers to earn interest on BlockFi. So if you were looking for something, I'd say like USDC, you could even lend it out on Compound Finance, for example, which is a decentralized platform where you remain in charge of your keys and all that fun stuff. So you can check that out. That's something worth considering. So next up, so anyway, finish my thought on Litecoin actually real quick. So Litecoin, Crypto Business says, not fractional yet, but it will come and has been talked about. Yeah, probably. Probably. It will come at some point. You know, and there's already a lot of questions around the different futures contracts and things that are being cooked up. Just because backed is, you know, one for one physically settled does not mean that future ones will not start moving in that direction of having these assets that are just blown out of proportion. But that's a different story. Anyway, besides the point. Piano Olympics 84, thank you so much for the contribution. Much appreciated, my friend. So, Litecoin is one that I've had a bag of for a while. I actually, I was out of it for a while. I'd, used it to buy things, basically. And then I bought a pretty decent bag of Litecoin earlier this year when it was, I don't know, about half the price, 30% of the price or something it is right now. So obviously it's gone down a lot. I could have taken profits on that, but I didn't get into it as a something like, I'm going to get in and make a bunch of money out of it. And I actually got my Litecoin to spend, which may sound kind of crazy to some, but I actually got my Litecoin because I want to use it to buy things, go traveling and spend Litecoin on things. It's possible in a lot of ways. You can buy plane tickets and things like this with Litecoin using like Travala, for example, or cheapair.com. They do flights. So there you go. There you go. Matea, your BYBIT question again. I don't know if you missed the answer on that, but I talked about that a couple minutes ago. So technically, yes, you can hold a position indefinitely, but please keep in mind the funding rates. So go and look into that. Check out their FAQs on the website. It'll explain more about how that all works for you. We're not going to go into it on this live stream. So next one up is Reserve. This is basically a stablecoin project backed by Peter Thiel. He doesn't back a lot of stuff, but Peter Thiel did back Reserve, so that really caught my eye about this one. So this is one of those kind of speculative things. I got in at a good price, and I'm kind of holding on to it. We're going to see where it goes, basically. BitMax so that's the BitMax exchange token. BitMax exchange token. So basically, this pays you out a daily USDT reward, which was a different stablecoin. It's a USDT reward based on like data usage and stuff on the website. Anyway, so you get a daily reward on your BitMax plus a certain amount of BitMax unlocked. So it's been pretty good to me so far, to be honest. I got in at a really good price, and so it's worked out pretty well. I don't know if I'd add any more to that position. To be honest, they've changed the terms quite a few times, which I'm not a big fan of, so there's that. There's that. Linux Lewis asks, what can you use crypto for in person? Linux, there's so many things. And look, it just depends on where you go. This is about spending crypto in the real world, right? I mean, I literally went to Australia and traveled for 3 days on Bitcoin. Now, I could have used Litecoin, actually. I could have used Litecoin in any of those situations because I was largely visiting places that were in the Travel by Bit network. And so they accept multiple cryptocurrencies, whether it be Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum, and a couple others. So I could have actually used, Litecoin in that situation. That particular one I didn't, but there's actually a lot of merchants that are accepting cryptocurrencies. It's becoming increasingly possible to spend cryptocurrencies at brick and mortar shops or for transport or for all kinds of things in person. I've gone to restaurants and used crypto. I've gone on tours and used crypto. I've got a haircut and used crypto. So there's a lot of it out there. So there you go. Lark, please swallow your pride and buy XRP and basic attention token, or at least check out the charts. HML, what's this swallow my pride stuff, man? This is the thing. Just because I don't hold XRP as a long-term investment, which is most of this portfolio stuff, this is what I've got here that is long-term, mid-term, and shorter term, I would say, in terms of my ideas for turning these over. But I've actually been thinking about whether or not the Ripple Swell conference is worth taking a look at for a potential XRP play in terms of a short-term trade. Basic Attention Token, I'm a big fan. I don't hold it, but I don't have to be a holder of a token to be a supporter of the token or enthusiastic about what they're doing. So there you go. Anyway, moving on. Next one up is Monaco. So this is the MCO token for Crypto.com. So I like what Crypto.com is doing. I'm a big fan of their service, big fan of their platform. I've got a decent amount of the tokens, not just for having the more premium membership, but also I think it's a good token to be holding considering the value that they're creating, but it's a small percentage of my overall portfolio. So not, going all in on it, but I do appreciate what the Crypto.com guys are doing, and I like their token. And so I've got a decent bit of that as a result. So next up, what do we have? So we're getting into the small ones here that aren't even listed on the thing here, as you can see. But so next up, we have Icon. Oh, Icon. The next couple, let's just talk about them together. Icon, Elastos, and Quantum. All very interesting projects. They are. Icon, it's got a lot going for it. Elastos has a lot going for it. Quantum has a lot going for it. These are all interesting blockchains. These are all blockchains that... I did forget Phantom. Linux, you're right. I did forget Phantom. Phantom's one that I've been holding for a while. I was lucky to get into Phantom at a good price. And I've just been sitting on it since then. Basically, it's a long-term one. I'm looking at Phantom, again, it's a boom or bust, right? 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road. Let's see where it is. I've got an idea about what I would like to see out of it. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes with Phantom. But right now we're chilling on it. Somebody asked, Lark, you on North or South Island? I'm on the North Island, but I'm in the south of the North Island. I'm in Wellington. So right in the middle of the country, right in the middle of New Zealand. Now, so Icon, Elastos, and Quantum. So basically, these are all high potential projects. They've all been crushed horrendously. I mean, I have no idea why I didn't sell these, honestly. I should have sold Icon basically when it went under the price that I initially bought it for. I didn't. Don't know why. Got greedy. Got delusional, whatever you want to call it. But Icon, Elastos, Quantum, they're all ones that I've ridden into the ground. And basically, by this point, I'm still enthusiastic about the projects, but there's no reason to have lost so much capital by letting these go into the ground and holding on to them well below the price that I bought them at. I mean, it's just, there's no reason for that. There really isn't. And, it's been, these coins like this have been good lessons, I want to say. Yeah, thank you for the lessons, guys. They're expensive. but I still like these projects. But the reality is I would sell them. I would. But honestly, with these three in particular, they've gone so far down that there's no point in selling anymore. Whereas, sure, they can go down farther, but whatever. Anyway. Somebody was asking about whether or not you accept Basic Attention Token if tipped through the browser. Yes, I am a Brave browser partner, so if you are watching these videos or want to send a tip or any of that stuff, either on Twitter or on YouTube, I get those, so that's awesome. I really love receiving those Basic Attention Token tips via the Brave browser, so that's very, very cool. Okay, what's up next? We have got Nexus. Now, Nexus is a super, super interesting one. Basically, I don't know. If you haven't looked into Nexus, seriously look into it. It's a very exciting blockchain. It's been around for a while, but it's just always been super low-key. And again, Nexus is one of those ones, it's like, it's a ride or die for me, right? It's either going to go to the moon or I'm going to lose all my money on it. But I like what Nexus does. I like the team. I think Colin Cantrell's very, very clever and has been making a very interesting and robust blockchain. So I think Nexus is one of those ones that could really do a lot of surprises for people. So one to definitely check out if you have never looked into it before. Chris, thank you so much for the contribution, my man. That is super, super awesome. Thank you for the content. Thank you for watching, Chris. Thank you guys all for watching. It's super humbling to have everyone out here, for a good old chat about cryptocurrencies. So very, very cool. So, next up, we have got NEM. NEM, actually, I'll probably put NEM in the Icon Elastos Quantum category, ones that I've just been holding for way too damn long for no damn reason. Seriously. But I still like NEM. I think NEM's a good blockchain. I think they've been doing some very interesting things. NEM Catapult, great scaling solution, all this stuff. So let's see what NEM can do. I think NEM, under the new leadership, hopefully will really turn around as the markets kind of heat up again, but I'm chilling on it. We'll see what NEM does. KUCOIN is the next one. I've just got a tiny bit of KUCOIN. I'm looking to get some more, probably. I do like the idea of exchange tokens. So BitMax has worked out pretty well for me. KUCOIN, obviously they give you the rewards based on the percentage of volume across the exchange. So there you go. It's a good one. I like the idea of those coins where you can kind of get some extra income coming in through them. So I'll probably get some more KUCOIN at some point in the future. I don't have a massive amount now, but I'll get some more in the future. But anyway. And then the last one here is Ergo. Ergo one, probably that... So I got in actually for the ICO, way back in the day. And one that I should have sold. But anyway, there you go. So I want to move on to talk about, so that's the stuff that is in my blockfolio, on my portfolio. And there's some fractions of other things. Like I said earlier, guys, I got a little fraction of, like EOS. I have a tiny bit of Zcash just sitting around for, I have no idea what reason. There's some Zcash sitting around somewhere, but not much. These are little things that aren't even worth, putting in the portfolio. It's like, oh, great, I got, a couple bucks of that. Fantastic. But there's a lot of, things that are not on here, which are still out there. So like the ICOs, for example, there's a couple ICOs that I've invested in that I'm still waiting to receive tokens on, et cetera, et cetera. And ICOs are an interesting one because, man, they're so speculative. They're so crazy. And like it goes through these ups and downs basically in the market where you get, when everyone's excited in the market, like we saw earlier this year, Crypto Bank says, I don't like to hold more than 10-ish alts. Yeah, I can feel you on that. Like I said, there's a couple on here that really shouldn't be on here. Someone asked, what about Steam, Lark? Well, I guess actually, yeah. I'll put Steam in my fraction category because I do have some Steam, but whatever. It's just out there somewhere. It's still on my Steam account, I guess. I haven't used Steam in a long time, so it's just sitting there. Maybe I should cash it out sometime. But it's probably not worth very much, so it's maybe not. Anyway, besides the point. I technically have some Steam, but it's not something I've invested in as a portfolio asset. Just happen to have a bit floating around somewhere. Anyway, ICOs. So ICOs are one of those things that when the markets are good, you can make a lot of money in ICOs. When the markets are bad, you can lose a lot of money on ICOs, as we all know, right? So overall, big picture, I've invested small amounts in a lot of different ICOs. Quite a few of them have done well. So there's that. Overall, I have done well out of ICOs. That being said, there's some that I've lost on spectacularly, like really bad. Like, oh my gosh, all the money is gone before I even get the tokens. And I think one of these things is that we've seen a lot of ICOs, particularly this year, with the IEO boom. The exchanges went to these ICOs and said, yeah, we can list you on our exchange, but, and there's a big but, you have to screw over all your private investors, or your pre-sale investors, or your public sale investors that weren't part of the IEO, whatever it might be. And that has been the case for a lot of projects, and a decent handful of ones that I invested in. I've gotten pretty washed out on a couple of those. But again, overall, I've done very well on ICOs because you get one ICO that does a 5x, and well, even if you lose 50% on 5 of them, you're still ahead. So there's that. I put approximately the same amount into to each ICO. But anyway, the changing of terms, it's ICOs. You know, it really is, because there's never any accountability for ICOs. It doesn't matter what stage you get in at. They will change terms on you. And that happened a lot this year because of the IO boom, because they would go to them and say, hey, look, we can only have 5% of tokens available to start because we need to have the price really pumped up on our exchange to make it look really cool for everybody. Like, everyone's making a lot of money, so they come in and trade it. Anyway, there's that. Matthias says over 95% of altcoins will fail outright. Probably, when you consider there's literally thousands of altcoins listed. This number that gets thrown around, about like, 90% or 99% or 99.9% or whatever it's going to be of altcoins are going to fail. There's a few things to really take in mind with that. One is that it's hard to say what the exact number is going to be and what we consider failure to be, right? Is failure that it's been delisted from everything and there's no market for it anymore and all developers have abandoned it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's perhaps complete failure. Not many of them actually get to that stage. There's usually some exchange that keeps trading it somewhere, whether it be a decentralized exchange or whatever it might be, or there's some developers still working on something somewhere. But generally, when we consider just, market failure, then yeah, you will have a lot of these failing. But we're talking, again, thousands of cryptocurrencies already. Thousands of cryptocurrencies already. So that's something to keep in mind. That's a lot of cryptocurrencies. Yeah, a lot of those are going to fail. A lot of startups in general fail. I mean, look at the venture capital world. Look at their startup fail rate. It's huge. Loads of startups fail. Same thing with ICOs, except that with a lot of these startups, basically you have, big investors and stuff getting in, and the whole thing's a little more serious. You don't have a bunch of people running around the internet screaming everything's a scam all the time. Some of this stuff is scams. Some of it's just crap. Some of it's just the teams couldn't deliver. Some of it's the market fit wasn't right. It wasn't the right time. All this stuff. So there's a lot of different things. Matea, thank you very much for the contribution. Much appreciated. So there's all these different things to factor in. So will we see 90% of altcoins fail? 95% of altcoins fail? Well, if we see 95% fail, and it's hard to say what that actually means, 95% of the current ones, because if we look at different token economics and the potential for different tokenized platforms and tokenized currencies, we're actually going to have thousands more coming in the next couple of years, and that breaks everyone's mind. That breaks my mind. Thousands of more cryptocurrencies coming. They're coming. They are. But yes, the top ones will continue to stay at the top. Things like Bitcoin, Cardano, Ethereum, BNB, Monero, like these are really, really solid things that are not going to go anywhere. So there you go. Justin says, Lark, you forgot Nexo. Literally the only utility token that I've bought to use for its use case. Nexo token. So Nexo is a lending platform. That's one of the many, of course. And yeah, basically the token lets you, I think it increased rates. I don't remember. I bought it. I tested it. I don't lend on Nexo currently, but I did buy a little bit of the token just play around with. But anyway, so Kevin, thank you so much for the contribution. Much appreciated. Lark, are you valuing your portfolio in Bitcoin or in USD? Well, I actually value my portfolio in USD. I guess I could just say, look, I got X Bitcoin, right? But no, I look at USD valuation. But in terms of trading things, I usually look at Bitcoin valuations. It depends, not all the time, but usually on Bitcoin valuations. So there's that. I know some people think, wow, I shouldn't look at Bitcoin valuations, but I usually look at dollar valuations. That's still where a lot of the value and stuff is. Justin, it gives you 8% instead of 24% on loans. He's talking about the Nexo token, I assume. So must be that. Anyway, Nexo token, not an expert. I only played around with a little bit of it for a few minutes, so definitely not an expert on what the Nexo token does, but it is a utility token. So there are utility tokens out there that have actual utility. And this is part of that conversation around there being thousands of cryptocurrencies and stuff. Yes, there's lots of them, and lots of them are going to fail. Lots of them are also going to succeed. And it's so funny to me because I feel like there's this whole, I don't know, like victim bias or something where people only look at the ones that are going to fail. They don't look for the ones that are going to succeed. There are going to be some cryptocurrencies that are going to succeed beyond your wildest dreams. Why are we not talking about those more? Why are we only talking, oh, the alts are going to fail? Like, no, find the 10% that are going to succeed wildly. You look at the dot-com boom, right? Yeah, pets.com failed. Amazon went on to become one of the world's biggest companies. Somebody bought Amazon. Somebody also bought pets.com. Sure, we can feel bad for the pets.com guy. We should also be clapping for the guy who bought Amazon on that mind-boggling bloodbath dip of Amazon, 20 years ago. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. And I think when we look at a lot of things, we look at, somebody lost money on that ICO because they held it for too long. I lost money on a lot of stuff because I held it too damn long. I'm not going to sit around and, run around looking for someone to blame because of that. That was my decision to hold things past the point where I should have held them. Does that mean that those projects will not provide value in the future? No, of course they might provide value in the future. Some of them might not. Some of them might just disappear. That's okay too. That's part of the game. That's part of the game here, guys. So something to keep in mind. Peter Petrov, no Singularity Net. No Singularity Net. I did have some a while ago and I got out of it. Again, just too many things. I still feel like I have too much stuff in my portfolio. A lot of the ICOs that I've got invested in, I'll probably just be selling. I don't particularly foresee holding any of them into the future. Maybe one or two, but it's a different story. Anyway, next up is the topic of lending. So, of my Bitcoin portfolio, and I'll talk about lending and trading at the same time. Of my Bitcoin portfolio, there's about 30% of it that I use for different things. I got 20% right now on lending. So about 10% on crypto.com, about 10% on BlockFi. So those are good. I'm quite happy to be leaving those 10% there, gaining that yearly interest. And then I've got about 10% of my Bitcoin that I use for trading. The rest of it's just like, that's hodling Bitcoin. That's in the cold wallet. It's it's not going anywhere, basically. But I do use a little bit of it to look at more income, potentially, right? Crypto numbnuts. He used to be my quantum brother. I'm all alone now. I still got my quantum, man. I still got my quantum. It's it's still there. It's still there. Anyway, but no, I do use some of these things. That's the thing, like, that we go back to the earlier conversation. Your keys, your Bitcoin, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Like, I wouldn't lend out all of my Bitcoin. I wouldn't put all of my Bitcoin on an exchange to trade with. I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes a lot of new traders make. They use their entire portfolio to trade with. Like, I got, $1,000 in Bitcoin, so I'm going to trade with all $1,000 of it, and then I lose 20% of it, and everything's a big scam. No, you got to risk manage. I got 10% of my Bitcoin that I use for trading. Sometimes I trade with Ethereum too. It depends on the day. Anyway, but let's just say 10% of my Bitcoin that I've got for trading. So, and then on that, none of my trades are 100% of that 10%. I'm using like 20% of that 10%, right? So even if I get into a trade and I get stopped out on it and, I lose 6 or 7% on that trade, well, that's not that bad, because you think about it, I'm losing 6 or 7% of 2% of my total Bitcoin holdings, right? That's trying to manage your risk when trading, because trading is a crazy game. Even when you think what you like, you play the numbers, like, okay, there's an X% chance of that happening on this trade. It doesn't always work out like that. You guys know what the crypto markets are like. Manage your risk, lower your risk. Anyway, Adam, what's up, man? How's it going, Adam? Adam Stokes, by the way, guys, awesome YouTuber. He's got a cool channel. If you haven't checked it out yet, you should be definitely checking out Adam's channel. But Adam, thanks for all your help you've given us. My crypto brother, please convert this donation to your sat stack. Nice. I will do that indeed. Look forward to our next video together. Yeah, I've been on Adam's channel. Adam's going to come on my channel these days as well, so we're going to have a... I've been thinking about some cool topics, Adam. I'll message you about it later, but I've been thinking about some cool topics for us to talk about. So, awesome. Thank you so much, Adam. And Macca's 5 Life. Shout out to Assange. Hope you're doing okay. I'm definitely doing okay. Assange is not. Assange is in a dark, dark prison somewhere, having all of his rights trampled on, but hopefully one day, Julian gets out of that dark, dark place, man. Anyway, it's a different conversation for a different day, but yeah, it's crazy stuff. Power, government, it's just, the whole damn thing's so broken. This is why Bitcoin for me, honestly it is. Honestly it is, guys. I look at how broken the banking system is, how broken the political system is, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. There's got to be a way to check out of that system and to make a new system, to build a better system. And I look at cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and all these things as a way to start to take some of that power back, you know, financially, and take your data back and all this stuff as well. Hooli Savage says, "Hey, Crypto Lark, I love your show, and it'd be a dream if you could shout out my Stackin' My Coin song on YouTube by Hooli Savage." Well, there you go. It has been shouted out. So check out Stackin' My Coin on YouTube by Hooli Savage, H-O-O-L-Y Savage. So go check it out, guys. There you go. I'll have to check it out later too after the stream's finished. So okay, and then to finish up, I think, is the conversation around possible things to add into my portfolio. So right now, I'm not particularly looking to add anything new into my portfolio. The last new thing I think that I added to my portfolio overall was an ICO investment, which the tokens haven't been released for that yet. In fact, they haven't even had their IEO yet. They will at some point. But anyway, Wishtream Mayor, only 6% in Cardano. Charles will unfriend you. It used to be a bigger percentage, Wishtream. It used to be a bigger percentage of Cardano, my friend. The market has made that percentage smaller. Anyway, looking at possibles, there's some great stuff out there. I know I mentioned earlier, like, yeah, you got like Cosmos and Tezos and stuff. And look, this is the thing is, and I think it really comes back to that earlier conversation. And really, I think a lot of what probably half of the comments have been here is, oh, what about this coin, or what about that coin, and what about that coin and this coin? And the market rewards those who take a lot of time and do a lot of research and really find those projects with good fundamentals, and understand why they have good fundamentals, understand the potential market for that token, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of great stuff out there. Just because I don't have it in my portfolio doesn't mean that it's not potentially good stuff. Am I looking to add anything now specifically? Not particularly. Not particularly. I mean, probably just add more of some of the stuff that I have. Actually bought some more Monero recently. What else have I bought more of recently? I bought more Bitcoin. I'm buying some more Bitcoin. Bought some more Ethereum recently. That's about it. I mean, I'll probably add some more to some of these positions. Obviously, the MCO, that's I guess more rather recent one that I've grabbed up, but Crypto Numbnuts, you had a full bag of WAN chain, no more. Oh no, I got out of the WAN chain, man. That's I just, with WAN chain, I just didn't see enough happening to make me excited about it. There was a lot of like a lot of things. There was a lot of promise, and I'd already lost enough money on it, and I got out. And it's gone down since. And there was a pump after at some point after I sold, but I'm good. That's I don't think I'll be adding WAN chain back in anytime soon. I haven't kept up with them, so I have no idea what they're doing these days. So there you go. Anyway, that's WAN chain. Do you think Google's quantum computing poses a risk to the crypto space? I covered this in a video, but I'll just address it really, really quickly. Basically, Google's quantum computer right now is completely focused on one specific application. Right now, we are looking at a situation where we're decades away from any potential quantum threats for any of the major blockchains as we know them right now. So the quantum threat, way overblown by a lot of people in the media. So there you go. Yvonne asks, anything new coming out that sounds interesting? Well, there's a lot of new stuff coming out that sounds interesting. I mean, there's new stuff all the time. Somebody's asking about BIDAO, which is kind of like basically a BNB collateralized maker-like structure. That's interesting. They're actually going to be multi-chain, which is potentially even more interesting. There's a lot of cool stuff happening all the time in crypto land. I've been probably focusing a lot more on some of the bigger existing projects recently and kind of what they're doing, and so there's that. Crypto Nutnut says, yeah, your portfolio is very different than last year. Very interesting changes you made. Yeah, there's that. I've cut down. This is the thing is, I'll be the first to admit that I got overextended. I got too many things in my portfolio. I feel like I made that classic mistake, and I've just been really much more reticent to add anything new into my portfolio. If anything, I'm looking to decrease the amount of things in my portfolio. So there's that. Somebody was saying something about risk management. Yeah, risk management, man. Risk management. That's a big one. That's a big one. So anyway, something to think about. That being said, guys, I think we'll finish up. I've gone for an hour now. So I think an hour is a good time. An hour is a good time, guys. I think we're going to finish up the chat. I'd just like to say super big thank you to everyone out there. I know that the comment section on this video is going to be mostly, what about my coin, Lark? Your coin's special. Remember, your coin's special too, guys. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. You guys are totally awesome. Thank you so much to the moderators. You guys freaking rock. Thank you so much for helping to keep the conversation a squeaky clean, friendly, family kind of place. Anyway, you guys freaking rock. Thank you so much. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.